Happy Monday, and thank you so much for tuning in to This Is The Day. My name is Sarah Otieno.
And I'm Frederick Njiri.
Well, what do we have today, Fred?
Well, 72 new COVID positive cases as government miles over reopening the country. And then for my friends in Kitengela and Athi River, well, you'll just have to wait a little longer before you can enjoy your sumptuous nyama choma. And we'll be telling you the reason why. Plus, don't forget, we have that useless story that never benefits anybody, does not add value to any soul at all, but we'll be telling you more about it later on.
All right. The WhatsApp number is 0786316316, SMS line 20316, on Facebook and Twitter at Family Radio 316.
Well, I think we're going to start with the thought of what the government is mulling over right now, reopening the country. And now the Central Bank of Kenya says there's a marked increase in the number of bad loans being reported by commercial banks in the country, an indication that the COVID-19 pandemic has had a bad effect on the economy. Well, that is something everybody knew. Now, according to the report by the CBK, an increasing number of people and businesses were defaulting on their loan payments, with fear that the trend will continue as more and more people lose their jobs and businesses close their shop. The report comes just days after President Kenyatta, in a televised address to the country, revealed that his government was now working on reopening the country, since the country cannot survive on a perpetual lockdown.
Sisi kama serikali zingine, mataifa yote duniani imeanza kuona hatuwezi kuendelea kusema Wakenya tukae nyumbani. Hatuwezi kuendelea kusema tu Wakenya musiende biasharani zenu, musiende makazi, musiende namna hiyo. Wewe uko na jukumu ya kuhakikisha umechunga mwenzako. Tukianza kupanua na kufungua uchumi wetu, wewe ujue ya kwamba usipotii masharti ambaye tumepatiwa, sio wewe peke yako utaumia, unaumiza pia mwenzako kwa kazi ambao unafanya. Hatuwezi kuendelea na lockdown. Hatuwezi kuendelea maisha na curfew. Na tukifungua hii ugonjwa ukianza kuenea, Wakenya lazima mjue ya kwamba itaenea, kwa sababu sisi wenyewe, mimi Uhuru, Matiang'i, wewe na ule mwingine, hatujatimiza yale masharti ambayo tumepatiwa.
I think the question is, are we ready?
That's $1 million question. Somebody said that we are very indisciplined, but at the same time, when you look at the economy, we're not. The economy is not doing that well. The economy is slowly grinding to a halt. So something has to be done. As you're saying, the $1 million question is this country ready for
a reopening?
Yeah.
0786316316. That is on WhatsApp. SMS line 20316. And SMS is only 1 shilling, so you can get to interact with us and tell us what your opinion is. Do you think our country is ready for a reopening? We want to hear from you. In the meantime, there was drama in Roysambu, Nairobi yesterday after 3 children rejected their journalist mother despite her winning a court custody case. Now, in a video, the elderly of the 3 children is heard saying, "We don't want her," referring to one Grace Wachira, who is a journalist in one of the vernacular media houses in the country. Speaking to the media, their father explained that the children refused to go with their mother for apparently abandoning them for nearly 3 years now.
Alienda kotini, amepata court order. Sasa watoto ndio hawa. Nimeleta watoto venye niliambiwa, na amekataa. Watoto amekataa mama yao. Watoto watatu. The last born aliachwa kinyonya, akiwa mdogo akinyonya. Nimemraise single-handedly. Sasa amepata court order. Alikuwa wachukue leo, wamekataa, wamekritisina hapa. So ni sina option nyingine.
Si mama yetu. Si mama yetu. Si mama. Anaitwa Grace.
Ni nani kwako?
What I've seen here is actually absurd. Siwezi taka kuona watoto wakipitia such an ordeal, kwa sababu psychologically watoto wanaumia sana. Like you have seen the scene which has just happened here. What has happened to the children? Watoto hata hawataki kuona the mother, wanashikilia tu baba yao. So you wonder, why would you take your children through such things?
Well, what could be the problem there, Fred? Because the mom took to court, fought her case, and won the custody. But the children are saying, no, we don't want to go with that. They're actually calling her, si mama yetu, that lady, and calling her by the name. I really do not understand what transpired there.
Well, that's a very difficult situation. But those are the things that the court is supposed to consider. But I guess they are minors. So, it's always assumed that the best place where a child should be is with the mother. But in cases like this now, what are you supposed? I think the case in its wisdom will know what to do after this.
Okay, let's hope for the best for that family and those children.
Now, even as the government mulls over reopening the country, 402 people have so far recovered from the coronavirus in the country. This is after 9 more people were discharged in the last 24 hours. As the Ministry of Health CAS, Dr. Mercy Mwangangi explains, 72 people have tested positive of virus, and the total now stands at 1,286.
Today, we have 72 individuals testing positive for the virus from 2,711 samples tested. The cumulative caseload of positives in the country therefore stands at 1,286, while a total sample of samples tested so far stand at 61,971. Of the 72 individuals, 70 of the cases are Kenyans, whereas one is of Somali nationality and the other is Ugandan. Of the positive cases, 44 are male, whereas 28 are female. The age range is between 12 years to the youngest and 78 years for the oldest. Today, we are happy to inform you that we've discharged another 9 patients who've recovered from the disease, bringing a total of recoveries to 402. However, on a sad note, we now have a total fatality of 52. We lost 1 more patient to the disease, and we do condole with the families and friends and those who've lost their loved ones in this pandemic.
Well, the country has also worked on its preparedness, and we now have 20 testing laboratories across the country. More healthcare workers have also been trained, and the counties are now fully equipped. They now have fully equipped isolation centers and quarantine facilities.
And Sarah, the ministry also pointed out the importance of a healthy lifestyle to curb the more infections, especially for those with underlying health conditions. The CAS said the ministry has come up with nutritional guidelines that should help Kenyans to observe healthy eating habits and exercises.
One more measure that we find to be very important, and that is that of maintaining a healthy diet, because it strengthens our body's immune system to be able to fight diseases. And it's important to note specifically for individuals who may have underlying conditions or who may have issues such as malnourishment are at greater risk of various infections, including this of COVID-19. We'd also like to emphasize that it is important that we do pay great attention to what we eat. And in this regard, the Ministry of Health has developed several nutrition guidelines in response to COVID-19. And these guidelines are all available in the ministry's website.
It's about exercising and eating healthy.
Well, Lord help me, because I can't remember the last time I did what you can call a real exercise.
Okay. Remember, we are answering the question today. Do you think our country is prepared for reopening? 0786-316-316. That is on WhatsApp, SMS line 20316. Send in your feedback.
I've checked, by the way, the traffic almost throughout the city, unless I don't have it right. Throughout the city, the roads are
Considering it's also a holiday today,
True.
that maybe that could be one of the contributing factors. What are we asking today?
All right. The government is mulling over reopening the country. basically taking us back to kawaida. 72 cases today positive. And so that's $1 million question. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for this big move? And I have a gentleman here who says, I have observed we have been all but open the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, sure.
Kulala ndio mapema juu ya curfew. Dennis. And then there's Vincent here who says, Vincent is watching from Thika. Thank you, Vincent. Yeah, I think, and then there's Joseph who says, Kenyans will never be ready. Lifting the restrictions will allow us to get back to normal. But how normal it gets will depend with our discipline. In the past, a country now, you need to take care of yourself. Everyone is responsible for their own health. Wow, that's very true.
That is who? That is Joseph, right?
That's Joseph.
Well, thank you so much, Joseph, for tuning in today. Remember, you can join the discussion and tell us, do you think our country is ready for reopening?
Before you go to the next story, there's somebody who's responding to the story you've just read about those kids who rejected their mom and went for their dad despite the court ruling otherwise.
Yep.
And he says, kids that age don't know how to reject parental love. Those kids are being poisoned by someone.
Wow.
Poisoned in the sense, being fed some negative
some
information. Yeah. Well, we don't know about that, but yeah, he's got a point.
For the court to maybe play its role in that point.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Kenyan truck drivers and transport companies and a section of leaders have called on President Uhuru Kenyatta and his Ugandan counterpart Yoweri Museveni to hold talks and discuss the way forward on the delay that has seen long, endless queues of lorries in the border. Now, Kandui MP Wafula Wamunyinyi and his Teso South counterpart Oku Kawia says the government should increase the number of tests that are carried out at the border points because they claim the process is taking too long, prompting the delay and the uneasy tension at the border.
Mheshimiwa anatoka hapa Malaba kwa constituency yake, hajaona hakuna testing yoyote hapa, na hata ukisonga ukiendelea Bungoma huko hakuna testing yoyote.
Serikali lazima iweze kujibu kwa nini Wizara ya Afya haijaanza kupima hapa Malaba.
Hiyo pesa tumekupatia, tumia kununua mashini, weka Mombasa, Miritini na ingine kuja Malaba kupima.
Kama waziri, hiyo matangazo peke yake haisaidii hii nchi.
Kutoka Samagoro kuja huku Uganda pamoja na India imetongezea taabu kupita kiasi. So kuna mambo mengi ambayo yamefanyika, wagonjwa wengi ambao tunawahudumia kule chini ambao ni Wakristo wetu. Kumpeleka mgonjwa hospitali ni taabu.
Serikali ikuje tuelewane na madereva na sio siongee na mazimu, waje wenyewe, tunataka wapo waje hapa.
Na kila siku tunapita Malaba tunaingia Uganda tunapimwa na wala hatupatiwi ile certificate yenyewe. Sasa tunauliza, hiyo siku yote wanatupima, ina maana ilikuwa wanatuingiza disease ndio baadaye wakuja tupatie certificate kuwa madereva wote wameathirika?
Well, let's hope that sanity is going to be restored on that side of the border. Well, the National Assembly Speaker, you remember there's been a lot of talks about impeaching Deputy President William Ruto.
Yeah.
Now the National Assembly has disowned an order paper doing rounds online, purportedly listing a special motion on the impeachment of Deputy President William Ruto. National Assembly Clerk Michael Sialai dismissed the contents of the program, terming it fictitious and intended to mislead members of the National Assembly and the general public. The fake order paper listed the impeachment of Deputy President on gross violation of the Constitution and gross misconduct charges as the only House business schedule for June 2nd, when the House resumed from its recess, which began on the 6th of May. Now, CLI said no MP had given a notice of such a special motion to either his office or that of the Speaker of the National Assembly.
As I always say, politics is a tricky game.
At times, I think a study should be done on this species of people that we call politicians, because we will never understand them. Every time a person becomes a politician, it's you just go through you morph, you change and become a completely different species.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word, we can't do without them. They say you can't do without it. Can't do with them. Can't do without.
Can you? All right, let's wait and see where I feel like today all the stories are just. No, let's wait and see how this unfolds. So let's wait and see on that note. Now, several hoteliers in Kitengela and Athi River Township have decried that they are on the bottleneck in acquisition of the COVID-19 clearance certificate. The hoteliers says it has become difficult to find nearby government-approved institutions for them to avail their employees for the COVID-19 testing.
The government is not come out clearly how we are going to get this certificate. Who is going to give us? Who is going to give the workers vaccination against corona? But they are insisting that we should not open the hotel because workers have not been vaccinated. We have tried, we have inquired, even from the health officers, and they are telling us they don't know the way forward. That is, do not operate in the hotel. Kwa sababu tulifungua kazi mara moja, hata bila kupatiwa notice, watu wakakataa kuja kwa biashara, na ukishikwa police station kwa sababu umefungua kazi yako.
Have you ever taken nyama choma from Kitengela or Athi River?
Yes, I have, and I feel their pain, you know.
You know, the moments when I took nyama choma in Kitengela and Athi River, you almost want to put them as sacred.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a sacred experience. You leave that place and you will always remember. You will always remember, you know, that experience you had with nyama choma in Athi River and Kitengela. Oh my goodness.
Now you feel where these people are coming from.
Yes.
You know? And hey, they need to open up their businesses.
Oh,
and
all of a sudden I'm feeling hungry.
Oh, sorry. And it's not only in Kitengela and Athi River, we must say. Very many different people and different business people in the hotel industry are actually complaining that they do not know where to take their employees for this testing. So maybe mobilization should be done on where exactly this testing can be done. My point of view.
True.
Yeah. So what's happening in Tanzania?
Well, the opposition is raising concern. They're saying that there's something wrong with the figures that TZ is giving over COVID. And now the Alliance for Change and Transparency, the main figure, Zito Kabwe, has called on the government to publish updated infection figures of the novel coronavirus. This comes as President John Magufuli announces that universities and sports events will resume in June, citing good development in the country's handling of the pandemic. But Kabwe insists that any decision should be properly anchored. The decision whether to open schools or not should be guided by evidence, by scientific evidence. And that is all they're asking for.
The decision whether to open schools or not should be guided by evidence, by scientific evidence, and we don't have that scientific evidence. So I'm very worried that President Magufuli is so in a hurry to bring the situation back to normal, regardless of the cost of lives that those decisions might cause to Tanzania. If the situation goes as it is, and Tanzanian government continues to behave the way it is behaving, it means that the turnout of the election will be very low because people will be afraid to go out to vote.
Well, remember the question we are asking. Even as TZ and the opposition leader in that country are actually demanding that the actual figures be published, we are asking, do you think our country is ready for reopening? And someone said, we are not ready because if the curfew is lifted, there will be no discipline. People will go to weddings, clubs, churches, etc. Social distancing won't exist. Thank you so much for your response. We have Joseph from Kiserian who is saying, Exercising tips. As a fitness trainer, I always advise if you think you're too busy, too lazy for a workout, do any of the two of the following exercises. And this is free advice here.
This is for
free
me, right?
Advice, Fred. Either you do running or swimming or cycling. You do not have to go to the gym. Either or.
So swimming, cycling,
and running, or running, that is. And he says 30 minutes minimum of either swimming or cycling. Running less than 30 is okay. Okay, I'm not commenting about that. Vincent Mulingi, thank you so much for tuning in. We have my friend Patrick Alube. Thank you so much for tuning in. And he's saying the country has to open up. This virus may be around for more months.
True.
We can't afford the lockdown anymore. We have to come up with a coping mechanism. And we also have someone else who texted in and said, yes, and I'm assuming, yes, the country should reopen.
True. I had an opportunity to speak to two gentlemen, an economist and an education expert. And I started off by asking them what they thought about, mostly because I'm more concerned about students going back to school. I know the economy has to open one way or the other because, hey, everybody's got to pay bills, right?
Yeah.
So I started off by asking them what needs to happen, and mostly so in the education sector, and whether we are ready for this kind of thing.
Some are saying that we have the class A candidates and the proper candidates coming in,
Yes.
so that we see how best it works.
Yes.
But with an overview,
Yes.
I wish to say that it's a conversation that I think right now we need to wind up.
Yes.
Because we are taking too long, yet the children closed up school indefinitely from mid-March, if I presume, if I get that right.
Yeah.
And most of them have had nothing that they can hold substantial in terms of their educational program. In as much as we have these digital platforms, we have the online learning platforms that we can actually put in place so that these learners engage in proper academic activities.
Yes.
But this is just like 10% of the total population of the number of students that we have in our country today. And the 90%, the only question we can ask ourselves is, what are they doing? In as much as the government is saying that when we reopen our institutions of learning,
Yes.
we are going to try and re-strategize on our curriculum implementation, or rather the way in which the syllabus is going to be covered. But as at now, what are those 90% of the remaining population of students doing while they are at home? I would strongly suggest that we really need to finalize on this conversation so that we can have a proper implementation being put in place so that these students need to go back to school. Or if there is not, or if we are not going to wrap up that particular conversation, then we really need to think of how best are we going to even reach out to those learners who are not able to have access to these digital and online platforms of education.
All right, Alvins. One of my main concern, and I think it's one of the, I can see Musyoka is back with us. I'll be getting back to him so that he can tell us exactly how the economy looks today. One of the main concern is maybe the protocols of ensuring that, once we get the thousands of students into one place, that the protocols are adhered to. Otherwise, we might have a disaster in our hands. Do you think, looking at the trends that we've had as a country, that we are ready, or the schools, the institutions will be able to implement the same?
Some of these issues I may not be able to confidently answer,
Yes.
but what I may say is that there is a committee that was appointed by the president to be able to try and see how best we are able to come about with the mitigation measures in view of reopening some of these learning institutions.
Yes.
But if I may just give an opinion, there's still much that is supposed to be done. Like I think 2 weeks ago, teachers, or rather former those who are in administrative positions in the education sector, they received a memo that was going about trying to and see how best our infrastructure in terms of in terms of the transport systems in our education institution are available, so that we are trying to see just how best, if we decide now to bring these students back to school, and how viable that can really work. But one thing I need to say is that we are not ready. As a nation, we are not ready, and there is a lot that we are able to do or we can do before we say that now we are bringing these students on board. I'm just trying to have a perspective of an institution that is perfect. Some will call it so slightly slow, or rather far from civilization,
Yes.
if I may use that term, with all due respect.
Yeah.
But they do not have the infrastructural base that they are able to necessitate opening or fully opening up over some of these institutions.
Okay.
And if even our health structure are still they're straining a little bit, if we can see that they're straining a little bit, what about our education institutions? And now that we have to bring them back, there's still a lot that is supposed to be done, even in terms of ensuring that some of these learners are adhering to the physical distance of 1.5 meters. What would you think of that? They are sleeping in a dormitory that they need to actually keep a distance of 1.5. How will that actually come into play when the normal mwananchi, him or herself, is not even able to adhere to that? And these are children, and they have missed each other over the period that they have been home. They are bound to actually forget all that and actually break up the social or other physical distance rules that the government has there. As the institutions that we are planning to reopen, has there been any government of health officials that have visited some of these particular institutions, just to ensure that
everything,
the school clinics that we have in place, or rather that the ones that are in existence in some of these institutions, are well equipped, and even those particular personnel are able to manage some of these institutions. That is just but a little bit of the conversation that we really need to wrap up before we can even think of reopening some of these.
All right. Let me bring Musyoka back. The economy. I looked at a report today. I think it was the commercial banks are seeing an increase in loan defaults because, of the unemployment and also the businesses going down because of this period. What do you think needs to happen? How do we reopen the economy and the country, but at the same time remain safe, if there's a possibility of achieving that?
As I was saying before, the system interrupted me.
Yes.
Is that from the data available, the inflation rate is 2%.
The inflation rate? Oh.
Infection rate.
Yes.
COVID.
Yes.
COVID-19. The infection rate is 2%.
Yes.
Now, 2% of that population, if we open suddenly, will mean at least 1 million people are under threat.
Yeah. 1 million.
Yes. Now, I doubt whether our health infrastructure is capable of dealing with an influx of 1.2 million people, all of them looking for maybe treatment and ventilators and all.
Yes.
So one of the things before we go even to opening is that how we ensure that this infection rate does not exceed 2%.
Yeah.
If we open suddenly, there are people out there who are not yet tested who would, or even those who are asymptomatic, who could go into crowded places, and the first thing they'll do is infect others.
Yes.
We have seen a case of one person infecting a whole hospital in South Africa.
Yeah.
We We have seen a case of a fellow in the US, one person infecting about 1,000 people. You only need one person to spread the disease in a crowded area.
Yeah.
So the thinking should be, and I think that is really what they are thinking.
Yes.
How far has the control measures, the prevention measures, how effective have they been?
Yes.
They have been, because you see the numbers are still very low compared to our level of indiscipline in the first place, right?
Yes.
We don't have the discipline to obey the law and obey instructions. So when it comes to opening the economy,
yes,
all the medical protocols must be in place.
Yes.
If that is the case,
yes,
then it looks like, for example, factories will have to introduce 3 or 4 shifts.
Yes.
Because there is no way you can bring all the employees you had initially and ensure they have a 1.1 to 2 meter spacing.
So basically, you're talking about a phased reopening. If you are in charge of this, which would you open? Which sectors would you probably open up, and which one would you hold for a while?
Where there is discipline, especially manufacturing,
yes,
and where you can enforce discipline in terms of shifts, so that instead of working, everybody going to report at 8 and leave at 5,
yes,
they report, one lot reports at 8, leaves at 5, another one begins at some point, and another lot works up to 8 in the morning.
yes.
So you have 3 shifts or so
Yes.
for people working, so that you keep everybody employed
Yes.
and working.
Yes.
But you crowd them together,
Yes.
you even close the factory, because one person will infect all of them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I think this one can be enforced. In the entertainment sector,
Yes.
which includes bars and restaurants,
Yes.
I think that is one area where we need to go very, very slow.
Yes.
In fact, the brakes in that side should be tightened, because the spread of not only COVID-19 but other diseases.
Yes.
A doctor the other day told me that even the restrictions on COVID-19
Yes.
have controlled the spread of other diseases, such as diarrheal diseases. We wash our hands
Yes.
regularly, we sanitize them, and that has seen the decline in diarrheal diseases. Other diseases that have to do with, like, sexually transmitted diseases
Have also gone down.
have gone down.
Yes.
Because, you see, so those are areas we need to ask, shouldn't we apply the brakes and limit, open the production side,
Yes.
even the entertainment, certain areas, or with serious restrictions.
Yes.
I repeat, serious restrictions, because
Of the infection.
just open.
Okay. Now, your closing comments, Alvins. If you are to advise the president in 2 seconds, what would you tell the president today, even as he thinks about reopening the country?
Thank you. Thank you so much. If that was supposed to be the case today, if I was to have a conversation with him,
yes,
I would just tell him that we still really need to look at this issue further before we jump into that conclusion of finally reopening up the infection.
Okay. Chendo, 2 seconds. If you had a moment with the president.
The education sector needs to be looked at seriously. There should be no opening until maybe the 3rd term, because there is a lot of crowding in schools. And don't tell me about lost years. I would rather lose a year than lose a life.
Okay. I hear you. All right, unfortunately, because of time.
What? Lost until September, so be it.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, that's a conversation I had with Alvins Ornano, who's an education expert, and Chendo Musyoka, who's an economist, on what needs to happen before we can finally reopen our economy or reopen the country.
Yeah.
And whether we are ready to do that.
Yes. And we have Alice who is saying, good evening, my name is Alice. I think we have been faithful in taking care of our personal health during those 70 days, but we have not opened. I'll just read this through and then I'll get back to you with what it says. But basically, she says the government should prepare to train different personnel like the teachers, the clergy, the different companies on how to manage the pandemic. She's saying opening up might be risky, but we need to train the personnel.
True. $1 million question. Are we ready for this thing? Are we ready for reopening the country? It's true the economy needs to be given a boost. At the same time, we need to be careful of how we open or reopen the country, because we are, unfortunately, a very indisciplined people.
Let's head over to Israel. Now, the trial of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on corruption charges has opened in Jerusalem days after he just began a new term in office. Mr. Netanyahu, who is 70, is the first standing leader to face trial in the country's history. He denies accusation of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. He branded the allegations a witch hunt by political opponents and has vowed to clear his name. He stood on a face mask and refused to sit down on the defendant's bench until the reporters left the room, and that is according to local media in that area. And his lawyers say that they need several months to prepare his defense. The date for the next hearing has been set for the 19th of July.
Elements in police and the General Attorney's Office have allied with left-wing media. I call them the Just Not Bibi Gang in order to stitch up unfounded and hallucinatory cases against me. The objective is to topple a strong right-wing Prime Minister.
You know, when this story came up and I was sharing it with one of my friends, and he's like, those charges, bribery, fraud, and breach of trust, according to what we've read in the Bible about Israel, like that is least expected from that country. My friend's thoughts, you know.
It's okay. I hear you where you're coming from, but we're in a new dispensation, the dispensation of Christ. There's still majority of Jews are still living under the Old Testament. So we have a new creation. We are a new creation through being born again, but they're still trying to follow the law. And the Bible says you cannot be justified by the law. The law actually just shows you that you're a bad person, because you don't have any power to live right.
All right.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
And the Prime Minister is quite dramatic. So he refused to remove his face mask and sit down on the defendant's bench until the local media stations and the reporters in that court had to leave before now the case could proceed. It's very dramatic, you know.
That's Netanyahu for you. This is not the first time, by the way, he's going through this kind of thing. And he, just like there was a prime minister in Italy called Silvio Berlusconi. Always dramatic, always finding himself in the wrong side of the law, but somehow, you know, he always seemed to survive. He goes for a while, then comes back. Netanyahu has been the same. Is defeated in election, comes back, and one way or the other, this guy
survives.
He's surviving.
We have a comment by one Sarah from Naivasha, who is saying, hello Sarah, thank you so much for the show, and say hi to Fred. I think that we are not ready yet as a country, because As Fred said, we are notorious and we do not follow instructions. That is very unfortunate, but it is what we are. Maybe, just maybe, a little more time could benefit us.
Well, you know, reopening, one of the things that experts have been saying, and these are not experts from where I come from, they're saying that in most trends, most of the countries that have reopened, the infection trend has been you go, you peak, and then it starts going down.
Yeah.
We don't know whether we've peaked, but if you look at the trend right now, today we had 72.
Yeah.
At what point are we going to peak? But the beauty with what is happening, I thank God for what is happening in Kenya, is that the fatalities are low. The infection rates are high, fatalities are very low.
Yeah.
And probably that is what is informing the powers that be to reopen the country. As to whether we are doing it the right way or we're ready to open, I don't know.
Well, look at it this way, Fred. You know, most of the counties that have been affected, and that is Mombasa and Nairobi amongst the other counties that were put on a partial lockdown. But these two counties are the ones that basically run the economy of the country.
True.
So if it means it's reopening, then it means reopening Nairobi and Mombasa County amongst other counties. But look at the numbers. Like today we had 15 cases in Nairobi alone. Mombasa is also among the leading counties when it comes to the number of new infections. So would it be a mistake to reopen just yet?
But the question is, again, at what point are we going to be so disciplined enough so that we can say we are now disciplined, let's reopen the country? I think it's personal responsibility. Personal responsibility, I think, is what is going to save us. And I'm so happy, by the way, the Bishop Margaret Wanjiru is actually now out of the ICU. I'm made to understand she's doing better, and she's been calling people, just saying thanks for praying for me. But the thing is this, personal responsibility, which seems to be in shortage in quite a number of parts in this country.
All right.
Oh, I'm supposed to do a story, right? Oh, okay. This is that time where we give you one of those stories that do not benefit anybody at all. I mean, it's if it was to be marked by a teacher, it would be 0 over 100. But anyway, we are going to put it out there. Now, a police officer in the United States was forced to stop a car he noticed was driving too slow on the highway and was suspecting that the driver was either sick or somewhat impaired. Now, after turning on his siren, the driver neatly pulled over to the side of the road. Now, the person who was driving this car was actually a 5-year-old boy. And this boy had been driving this car on the highway. And it's a very fast highway.
Yeah.
And he says when the police officer asked him, now, what in the world are you doing? He says he left home, his parents' home, with the dad's vehicle, after arguing with the mother. And the argument was like this. I mean, the 5-year-old boy wanted to have his mother buy him a Lamborghini. And the mom said, no way. So the boy left home, took the family car and drove it. And by the way, he's driving it very well. It's only that because of his height, he can't quite see where he's going. So he decided that he was going to drive from one state to the other to go to California to buy himself a Lamborghini. Now, the only problem is this. Number one, he's 5 years old, and he was a little short of the monies that he needs to buy a Lamborghini because he only had $3.
Wait, that in Kenya shillings is about 300 Kenya.
Yeah, 300 shillings.
For a Lamborghini?
Well, he's 5 years old, but the amazing thing, he's driving the family car, and he's very comfortable. 5-year-old. Oh, my word.
All right. Well, that one really caught me off guard there. Well, we just hope that one day he'll get the car that he wants.
Yeah, Lamborghini.
Well, this virus has also caused a lot of people, and especially couples who are planning to get married, to call it quits, postpone their wedding, or even cancel them completely. But for others, whether their parents will not be there, whether there is no dress, because apparently businesses are closed even for those that fit the gowns and prepare the gowns for their bride, whether there is no dress, whether the parents are not there, whether it's going to be streamed live, they said they are going to have their wedding. And for some couples, it is just the perfect time to be fragile and to be just do their wedding. Listen to this creativity.
We had been engaged for 2 years. So we invited 260 people. We planned this wedding for 2 years. I was disappointed. It is so much planning that's involved in it, and you're looking forward to it for so long, you know. But after I realized there's nothing we can do about it, so where can we go from here? It was definitely different. Just wore a nice little white dress, walked out of my house down the driveway to my future husband, and just seeing my family there, it was not as planned, but it was still romantic and intimate. I've actually had 4 friends that have had to either postpone or cancel their wedding. Most of them are still ending up getting married on the day that they were planning and then having a celebration.
We thought about the second wave or whatever and how long it would be before we can get actually married. And we really didn't want to do that.
We had people Zooming in to watch it. We didn't spend anything on our wedding. I spent $15 and I got my dress from a stranger on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. So we didn't spend any money because of the generosity of our friends and family.
Instead of a flower girl, we had a little girl with a basket walk around with hand sanitizer.
Our verse that we have together, which is Ecclesiastes 3:11, God makes everything beautiful in his time. And that's really our theme verse. And I've seen God do that. He has made everything beautiful.
Would you do your wedding at this time?
Actually, this is the best time to do my wedding, to do a wedding, by the way, because number one, I would invite over 1,000 people, but they all attend via the Zoom, and then meaning I wouldn't have to feed them.
If you were from my area,
Yes.
then this is the worst time to do a wedding, because our weddings are big and many people, even those you don't know, must attend. Anyway, we have to end this. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to This Is The Day. My name is Sarah Otieno.
And I'm Frederick Njiri.
Have a good night.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.